Today we are going to be designing a social media flyer from scratch, and I would like each and every one of us to follow keenly. This is the social media design we are going to be working on today, and I would be designing even from designing the logo down to the end, so I want us to follow keenly. So first of all, we are going to go to our Photoshop. We're going to open our Photoshop panel. We're going to create a new file by clicking on Ctrl N, or you create new. I'm using a size of 1920 by 1920, a resolution of 300. This can also go with social media designs. You can post on Instagram and Facebook and the likes of it. So I would click on create. Make sure your color mode is set to RGB on 8-bit and your background content is white. So I would create, and the first thing I'm going to do, like we always do, is to create our background first. So in this case, I want to unlock this particular background here at the layers panel, and I'll unlock it. Then I'll go to my FX down here, the second bar, layer 2 panel by the side. I'll click on FX, then go to gradient overlay. So when I click on gradient overlay, I would set my gradient. I'll set this side to 3, 2, 5, A, 9, 5, and click OK. Then I'll set this other slider to 4A, 7, F, C, 7. Then I'll click on OK, and that is it. So the next thing I'm going to click, make sure it is on. You can set it at 1, 2, 3. You can set it at anyhow you want, but I'll leave mine at 120. That's the angle. Then I'll click OK. The next thing I'm going to do is to bring out my ellipse tool, and while holding shift and left clicking, I'll just draw an ellipse, not too big. Then I'll click on the option or the properties of the ellipse. When I click on it, I would take my eyedropper tool and drop it a little bit on the background. Then I'm using color code FE8CCC. Then I click OK. Then go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, rasterize, and I will increase it a little bit because I want kind of light coming from the top corner of the flyer. I'll use let's use 200 will do. I click OK. So voila. So Control plus to increase your screen size and Control minus to minimize. So there I have it. So the next thing I'm gonna do, I'll click on V to choose my move tool. I'm going to create a group, and how I do that is while holding the first the ellipse, I'll hold shift, then click on the last layer and Control G to group. Then I'll call it background PG. Press enter. The next thing I'm going to do is to create a new layer. I'll come down here and create a new layer. And what I want to do now is to create the first thing there, which is my logo. So if you check the sample, of the flyer that we have to create, you find that is the logo that came in there first. Auto tab. Now what I'm gonna do is click on my ellipse and I draw find ellipse, Control plus to see what I'm doing. Then when I draw the ellipse, I'll change the color to white, black white, yeah. Then I'll click on my text tool and just click anywhere on the screen and press N. I'm using font, the name of the font I'm using is Objectivity, and it is set to bold. So I'll click N. Yeah. Then I will change these. I'll use size of 72, I believe. Yeah, 72. Then I'll hold V, then take it to the middle of it. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create. Please be careful when you're doing this. I'm gonna create from the logo, the name. Alright, this is the name of the company. You can follow them online on their Instagram page. It's Novels they actually deal with hiring talents, that's tech talents, and also helping your franchise grow in the online space. So novels, then I will change. I'll click OK. I'll click that checkbox. Then I'll change the color to white. Now, if you check very well, the spacing is -50. So please take note of that spacing is -50. And for this one, I will change it to 64. 64 go. Let's use 60. Then when I click on 60, I will drag upward. Now take note, this is not the final. I'm just using this as a reference point. Then I would alternate. While holding Alt on my keypad, on my keyboard, I will drag a little bit downward. Then I would put what is underneath, and what is underneath is let every project try. Now I'm going to reduce it to as small as 12. Yes, the reason why I'm doing that is so that when I want to scale everything as a logo, it would enter into the space I want to fit it in. So I scaled it as 12. I'm going to increase the spacing of this one to 100, or let's use 150, because I'm trying to look at how it can be balanced. Okay, we're going to use 180 instead. Okay, then I'm going to change the thickness to regular. Then I'll drag it upward, make it to match with this. Now I want, in a case where the logo would match with whatever I have here, so I will press Ctrl arrow, I bring my ruler downward, I'll click on where the ruler starts, I'll just left click on the ruler edge and drag down a line to where it lines up, and drag down another line to where it lines up. Then I will click on this ellipse I've created. While holding shift, I click on the N inside, then I'll drag it to fit the. Then what I'll do, I'll just shift it a little bit to the side so that I can create a space. Then when I do this, I can remove these ruler edges I've created. Then the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this a group, and I'll do that is while holding the ellipse tool, I go to the very top. While holding the ellipse which I've created for the logo, I'll go to the very top where let every project try is. Make sure this is aligned, and I would hold shift and click, then I'll Ctrl G, and I'll call this logo. Ctrl minus. The next thing I'm going to do is Ctrl T, and I'm going to reduce these as small as I can. Not really small though, but to a reasonable length. Just do it at your discretion. Reduce this a little bit. Now, in order for me to have some kind of balance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be making good use of my rulers. So I'm going to click on the side, the vertical side of the rulers, and drag. This is the size I want. At if you check, this is 1. If I'm not mistaken, I want it to be at 0.8, and also at this side another 0.8. So just drag the rulers until everything matches up. So I think it's too close. I'll shift it a little bit by the side, shift this to a little bit to the side, so that everything would align. Then also the same thing here, bring down the line that is related to this. And when I do that, I would let's increase this side a little. Alright, I'll take this to the side where it should fall in, and Ctrl T, reduce it a little more, you know, Ctrl T is to transform, a little more, and there we have it. So what should we do next? I think the next thing I would like to bring in is the website that is by the side. Now I have dropped the link on the comment section in order for you to get access to the files I used for this particular design in case you want to try it out. So you can as well check the comment section and you would see what I have posted. So what I will do now is I'll go to the place I put in all the resources, and here I have it. I'll also open my Photoshop panel, and the first thing I had there was the website icon, so I'll just drag it to my panel, and there I have it. So first things first, I'm gonna change the color of this to white. Effects, color overlay, and I'll change it to white. Okay, Ctrl T, and I'll reduce it. I'll scale it to the size I want it to be. The next thing I'm gonna do is choose because it is novels.com, and when I do that, I change the color node to white. I know it's kind of big, but I'm gonna reduce it. I'm gonna be using a size of, I think 10 works fine. Then I'll make this to be regular. Then I'll shift it a little bit to the side. Then shift this a little bit to the side too. So I think that does it. That does the trick. The next thing I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be introducing the resources, the main resources I have for the design. I don't want to bring in the social media icons now, so I'll just bring in the main resource I have for the design, which is the guy you see sitting down there. I'll just bring him in first, and when I bring him in, I scale him down a little bit. Yeah, so take note of this rulers I made use of here, and then when I bring it down, and I'm gonna do a little work on this, but before that I would like to put everything in order. So what I'll do is I'll just bring this novels layer down and make it, and Ctrl G and call it website. The next thing I'm gonna do is to work on this. So what I'll do here is I'm gonna tweak this particular resource a little bit. And how I'm gonna do that is I'll go to my layer option panel and I'll click on the fourth tool to the right, which is to create a new fill or adjustment layer, and I'm going to choose hue and saturation. There's a mixer brush by the side, which is here. I click on it, and what I'll do is I'll use this mixer to modify the saturation. I'll click on it, then when I click on it, I will select this purple because I don't want it to be purple. I don't want it to distort the design and make it look inappropriate, because I'm trying as much as possible to maintain the colors, and I'm going to change and tweak the colors a little bit till I get some kind of blue. So I'll just move it. Okay, I have something like a blue now, and while I get this, I'll reduce this. No, I'll increase the saturation a little bit to the side, so it's -74 and +21, if you can see, so that I can get what I want. So when I do that, I'll right click on this particular saturation panel I created and do a clipping max. Then I'll press on V, then shift it a little bit to the end. And when I do that, I'm gonna go to my filter. There's a particular option I'll make available to you. If you ask for it, you can actually DM me and I'll make it available to you. It's not that expensive, so I'll make it available to you also. Just DM me and you'll be directed on how to go about getting your Topaz Labs. So I get Topaz Labs and I click on Topaz Adjust 5. It's a Photoshop plugin. Then I select, I love using Crisp, so I'll use Crisp for this plus. Then I'll reduce it a little bit. I'll reduce the exposure, then reduce the regions a little bit. Yeah, I press OK. See that there's a little bit of change on the guy. Then the next thing I do, I like making my picture sharp, so I'll go to filter also and do I'll click on camera raw to increase the sharpness of the image, so that when you create this particular design, it would come out so sharp. I love things being sharp. Then I'll go to sharpness and just increase the amount a little bit. Let's use 33 and then increase the detail a little bit to 28 and I'll press OK. Alright, I think the guy is good to go. So the next thing I'm gonna do, because if you check the very original flyer, there is something behind him, so I would love to create that. It's like a mixture of ellipse and the rest, the likes of it. So next thing I'm going to create while clicking the hue and saturation, the toppest layer on the panel, I'm going to create a new layer and I'm going to create an ellipse. I'll just, while holding shift, I create a very big ellipse. And while I do that, I will make this white. Sorry, it's in front of the guy, but I just have to do this so that you see what I did there. I'll put it in front of the guy, then make this to be 20, no 10, 10, yeah. Make this ellipse to be 10 in terms of opacity. Yeah, on the opposite, on the layers panel, make it 10. Then I'll create another one, Ctrl J, Ctrl T. Then I'm going to reduce it a little bit. And I'm going to increase this to 20. Then I'm going to create another one, Ctrl T, and reduce it a little bit. And I'm going to make this to be the 100. Just click the three of them and Ctrl G. Then I will drag them down below the guy on the layers panel. You know, when you go in the layers panel, you see a blue line indicates that this is now directly beneath the person that you're trying to put it underneath. So what I'll do now is to reduce it, Ctrl T, and I'm going to reduce this a little bit. If you check, I made it to be close to the laptop, and also by this side. Okay, yeah, exactly what I wanted. Yeah, so that was what I did there. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to bring in, there's an arrow that was there, but it was somewhat editing. I'm going to bring it into the picture right now. Okay, this is what I actually used, and I'm going to scale this a little bit. When I scale this, okay, I'll make it a little bit bigger. Then Ctrl T. Then when I press Ctrl T, I right click, then flip horizontal. Then when I flip horizontal, I'll now turn it a little bit because I want to create an indication that this is what I am doing, or this is what I am up to. Okay, then I'll twist it a little bit. So how I was able to just get the arrow out was by using my magic wand tool. I'm going to take this upward, select my magic wand tool. The magic wand tool is the fourth tool on your tool panel. Then I'll click on this white tool. What I'll do is just Ctrl J to duplicate it, then the one underneath I delete it. Then while holding this Ctrl, I'll make it to be a smart object. Then the next thing I did, let me bring this down a little bit, was to choose filter, go to blur, go to motion blur, and I'll make it to be in the direction of where it's pointing to. You see 16. Okay, while I did that rather, I'm gonna do some kind of outer glow FX and choose outer glow. Then I'm gonna leave it at opacity 7, the spread 25, size will be 50, and the range will be 50, and that's it. Okay, then Ctrl T. I want to increase this a little bit, because I want to create some kind of focus and balance, rather emphasis on the design. So the next thing I'm gonna do is to put in the main idea of the flyer, which is, when you're designing, you're actually passing a message. So what I used there was Degola, but I'm gonna change the font to Degola Demo. I'm gonna also put that on the comment section for you to download it. Then the next thing I'm gonna do is scale your business, right? width. Now one thing with this regular font that I used was it wasn't always giving me what I wanted. So what I would always do is to go back and still select regular, because there were some options that were not available, like the hyphen. So I would also switch to Mirrored Pro for that. We get and create some form of spacing. Then also the exclamation mark also. Then I will change everything to, did I use medium? No, I didn't use medium. I used semi-bold. Yeah, 26 is okay. Then drag it a little bit. The next thing I'm gonna do is to apply some gradient overlay. So FX gradient overlay. Then I would use gradient overlay of let's use something like that. Just click. Let's use DOE4FF to one side. Yeah, just set it to one side of stroke. Make the stroke to be a bit white, like this. Okay. Alright, I think that will do. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate this by holding Alt, drag it down a little, and I'll remove all the effects and make it to be regular. Since when I make it regular, I'll go to my text tool and type what is underneath, which is let's help you. Let's make this 10 and see. Then okay, got to then the spacing is 13. Yeah, 3 pixels apart. So I think we're gonna make this regular too. Regular. No, not that. Regular. 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 Eh? Let's help you. Remember, you just have to use this. So there we have it. The next thing I'm gonna do is to start creating little rectangles. Yeah. Then the size of, I think I use 16 for the size. Then I'm gonna be using an option. When you click on the properties of the shape, you go to the side, you see gradient, and we use this option. And I'll take it to this DOE4FF. Then when I do that, I'm going to increase, let everything be 10. I'm going to increase this a little bit to 26, if I'm not mistaken. Control plus, then Alt. Make sure the sizes are equal. So when I do that, please take notes. I'm going to be grouping some of them currently. Let's help and scale your brand. Control G. Those are the main text. Then for these rectangles, I'm gonna hold Shift and select all of them. Then Control J twice, because I'm gonna be dragging them down to get what I want. There's some of them that are upward again. Drag down. Yeah, I think that's it. That solved the issue. So I think we are good to go. Before that, I'm gonna put in my barcode. So I'll just go pick in my barcode here and drag it down to my Photoshop panel. Then I'll also make it smaller. So just scale it a little bit. Scale it again. Drag it upward here. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, that's where I got it. Then Control T. I think I put a scan now below, so I'll just click caps lock scan now. Yeah, that's what I did. While pressing V, then drag it a little bit back to the side, then reduce the size to this. I'll reduce to 8. Yeah, then drag it a little bit upward to where I have the scan now. So the next thing I'm gonna be doing, okay, I forgot something. Before I continue, before I add all the rectangles together, I'm gonna put in a shadow beneath this guy. So I'm gonna pick up my ellipse tool. I'll go to where the guy is beneath him, which is after this group. I'm gonna create a layer and I'm gonna create an ellipse tool. Let's create an ellipse tool and we'll make it to be black. Yeah, black. Just a simple shadow beneath him. Then I'm gonna go to filter, Gaussian blur, Gaussian blur, and increase the radius. Then I'll make it to be sublight because I love my things to be sublight. Control C and reduce it a little bit because okay, I think I'm not seeing it, so I'm gonna let's use that light. Control T so that it will indicate that at least there's someone sitting there. Reduce. Alright, I think that's it. Then the next thing I'm going to be doing is to bring in all the asundry. I call it asundry. I'll click on all of them that are inside that inside the rectangles. I'll just click on everything and just drag them down into the pane. And if you check the main flyer, I'll just first, just check all of them, check the boxes. Alright, and when you do that, the next thing is you're going to select all of them too on the group here and drag them upward, very top of the layer, and you're going to drop it. Yeah, and Control T. Oh, I know you're confused, but just follow up, select everything and reduce it at the same time. I can't reduce all of them one by one, you get, so that there will be time to do others. Just select and drop, make it as best as it can be. When done that, alright, so now I'll start separating what needs to be separated. You check very well from what you already have. Okay, data analytics, digital marketing. The next one is app development. You put it in the right position. Five with size of 6 was 4 with a size of 5, and I think extra bold with design. So take it a little bit upward. I hope you're following clearly. Yeah, then simple things. What I'll do is, while I've done this, I'll just drag with Alt to replicate whatever I'm doing. drag Alt on every one of them. Then Alt, so that I can, by holding Alt, just drag so that I can do the necessary editing. This one is talent management. Okay, voila, there we have it. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna introduce our social media rest. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring in my rectangle too, but before that I'm gonna put everything now in a group. I'll slide down to where the last rectangle, using my shift, I click on the last panel, Ctrl G, then I call this contents, and that's where we have it. Now then we go upward and we're gonna select our rectangle too. I'm gonna draw a rectangle, common rectangle, while on the top of the screen. Just gonna draw a rectangle to the side and make it white. Just Ctrl T, increase it, make it to be balanced. Alright, so there we have it. So the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna even take this a bit downward, yeah, so that I can have some kind of space. Next thing I'm gonna do is to bring in my social media icons. So like my Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, my email, and wow, I have one that is not there, which is my Twitter, which I'll also bring in. I'll add it to that so that you can get it. Ctrl+++. I'll have to just click and make everything okay. Then I would reduce everything together. Ctrl T and reduce it to the size I want it to be. That solves the issue. And take it to the side. Alright, so I'll put in my social media handles now. I believe this is already coming out great. Put in my social media handles. I think it was Objectivity I still used, so I'll just drag this down. No, I'll just put in my social media handles. Novels. Change the color code to 1E1E. That was on caps lock, so I'll delete it, please. I'll put Novels. Why is it on caps lock? Novels. Underscore. Drag this to the side. I think this was supposed to be 8 or 10 rather. Then on regular, let's make it medium so that we can see it more clearly. Then same thing here, Novels. Edit it as time goes on. the same thing here. What I'm going to do is to put all of them in one piece. Control G. Put the Instagram into the group also, and call these socials. Then I would change the color code of this color overlay. Oh no, to change the color, yeah, color overlay 1E, 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 yeah. No, I don't want the rectangle to be part of it. So what I'll do is in it, I'll click all the necessary items, put a Ctrl G, change it to color code. Then I'll change color overlay to 1E, 1E, 1E. Change the color code to 1E, 1E, 1E. Alright, I think that solves it. So voila, that's all we have. Then I'll go to File, Export as. Change the format to JPEG and export all. Let's call this Novel Created YouTube. Oh yeah, Novel YouTube, yeah. Novel YouTube. And save. Now let's go look for what we created. Your YouTube, you click, and voila, there's your flyer. I believe this particular video has helped you. And I know that even as you're going to create it, if you have any questions, please do well to drop it in the comment section. I'm always there to reply you in due time. And also you can also reach out to me. I'll drop up my link to my portfolio and my WhatsApp for you to reach out, so we can have better conversations and grow together. Thank you once more. My name is Walt Design. See you in our next video.